The last location I want to mention to teachers about where they might want to consider their vacation is probably something you haven't thought of. It's in the Midwest, and it's Branson, Missouri, and I've been there enough to know you're going to love it.
Substitute Teachers Lounge.
All right, this will be the last of the vacation episodes. I mean, after all, we got to go back to work here in about a week, right? Now, I almost didn't record this one. As much as I like Branson, Missouri, I almost didn't record it because I wasn't sure if it would be as popular as The Mouse and as Hilton Head. But here's what happened, interestingly enough. I had already made notes about it. Our best friends live in St. Louis. We go to Branson quite often with them. They have a vacation home there, and they are the ones that turned us on to Branson. So I'm going to lay it out and tell you how much fun it is. But the main reason I'm recording this is that I recently posted on our Substitute Teachers Lounge Facebook group. And basically what I said was that there have been so many of you that have recently joined, and we're getting ready to go back to school. So why don't we just take a moment and get acquainted? I asked them to post their name, how long they had been substitute teaching, and where they were from. And I tell you what, there was a lot of people from Missouri. The majority of people were from Missouri. You know, I had someone from Arnold, Missouri, which I used to live there for 3 years. Another reason is that I did get, not a lot, but I got a few emails saying, Greg, you've done well with the vacation spots on that side of the country, but what about us a little further west? And since I know I have so many Missouri friends out there, Branson deserves your attention. Now, before you just cross it off, let me tell you how much fun it's going to be. It is a popular place. It has been known for its country music, although in recent years it has kind of branched out from that, and there's a lot more things going on there than just country music. Now, I'll say once again, just like I said with Hilton Head, it reminds me a little bit of Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I know there's probably more of you that have been to Gatlinburg than have been to Branson in this regard. There's the walking around places. There's the fun stuff to buy. I mean, you can kill a lot of time just walking around, but the cool thing about Branson is that there is shows and entertainment all over the place. Now, before I get too much into that, I do need to back up to about a couple of episodes. I knew The Mouse was popular. Just like I told you guys, you mention it once and you're going to hear from everybody. Well, I had a lot of people email me and say, Greg, you didn't mention this website. Great for Disney stuff. You didn't mention this site. Great for Disney stuff. Well, guys, I'll just say this quickly. I have been to all of them. There's a reason that I only go to the ones I mentioned to you 2 weeks ago. Some of the reasons vary from some of them have become so opinionated that you really get more opinion than you do useful facts. Do you really want to base your restaurant choice base it on somebody who has a website who said their steak was undercooked? I mean, you're going to miss out on a lot of things if you do that. Plus, a few of the leaders have become a little bit on the arrogant side, and when you listen to some of their shows, they interrupt their speakers. It's obviously that the speakers are sort of like their disciples and they won't really say anything or disagree with the leader. And a lot of that turns me off a little bit. So I recommend it, the three. I recommend it for a reason. Now, I will tell you, even on Disboards, you got a lot of people that are so confident that you'll catch them arguing with each other now and then. No, you told them wrong. It should be like this. But still, that is a wealth of information on disboards.com. But I'll even say that some of the websites I stopped going to, the last time I went there, I had to scroll through so many advertisements and click the X to close the window so many times. I just said, forget about it. I'm not going to look up what I wanted to look up anyway. So it's your decision, obviously, but I stick by my guns and say that those 3 websites I gave you on the episode 2 weeks ago are the 3 best ones to go to if you're going to visit the mouse. Now, I will say right off with Branson, Missouri, let's talk about the entertainment first. There is entertainment galore. I'm going to jump on TripAdvisor here in just a moment and tell you what some of the more popular choices, at least by people that have rated the different groups that are there. I'll go ahead and say that probably the most popular group, and it's a group that we go to and see their show, very, very theatrical, I don't want to give anything away, but, some of their show will turn you upside down. I'll just leave it at that. And that's the Haygoods. They are a very entertaining family and group, and they have a show that is well worth seeing. I know that one of the gentlemen in the group also has a pyrotechnics company on the side, and he's done some of the pyrotechnics in the Branson, Missouri area. So take that for what it's worth. That is well worth the money. They are probably the best theatrical show. The best just flat musical show, I think, is the Petersons. I actually have had the pleasure of meeting them. If you want to go to their YouTube channel, it is Petersons, just like it sounds, except the last syllable is S-E-N-S, not S-O-N-S. So it's P-E-T-E-R-S-E-N-S. I just looked at their video numbers. I wasn't even sure. I knew at one time the cover they did of Dolly Parton's Jolene, it was such a big deal when a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, it broke 1 million views. Well, now it's up to 16 million. And as I'm looking through their list, they've had 1 million views. Oh, it looks like it's probably 20 of their videos at least has had at least 1 million views. Their number 1 viewed video now is Take Me Home, Country Roads. That has had over 23 million views. So check them out that way. They're a nice family entertainment group. I've seen their show twice. I've actually attended a private show at a friend's house where they were performing, and it's just absolutely excellent. So I'm going to recommend those 2, the Haygoods and the Petersons, right off the bat when you're in Branson, Missouri. But as far as other things go, let's talk about that a little bit. I am going to guess that those of you, now I'm not a big country music fan, and I live in Kentucky, so that's unusual. So I'll go ahead and admit that. I grew up with rock and roll is almost dead as far as I can tell. But I'm not that crazy about country music, but I am crazy about the style of the music that is in Branson. I know that one of the Peterson members, her name is Ellen, she once was on American Idol. She got a golden ticket. And the cool thing I remember about her audition is that she walked in, she told them that she was from Branson, Missouri, and Keith Urban was actually wearing a Branson, Missouri shirt that night. And he's one of the judges that year, he was, along with, I believe it was J-Lo and Harry Connick Jr. Yes, that's right. And Ellen was also a banjo player. She sang and she yodeled, actually, and she sang and played the banjo both. And after they gave her the golden ticket for the next round, they actually asked her if she could play the Beverly Hills theme song. And there they were, all 3 of those 2 guys and Ellen Peterson were all standing there playing it at the same time. She was playing, they were singing, they were all having a good time. That's the kind of, if you just kind of look that video up, it's out there. If you can just kind of look at that and look at some of the Peterson's video, and if you enjoy that kind of music, it's really the kind, their theater, it's not a 20,000 seater. It is a typical Branson theater where you've got a few thousand seats and you pay and you go in to hear them, and it's really a lot of fun. So the Haygoods and the Petersons is 2 groups I'll recommend to you right away. Now, I'm going to back off from the entertainment in Branson for just a while. The reason I want to back off of it a little while is because not all of you are the kind that just likes to go to a place and walk the streets and go to the shows. Well, right next to Branson is Table Rock Lake. It's a beautiful lake, all kinds of boats on the lake. I know we have taken our friend's boat all the way down to Arkansas. The lake winds around and goes down there. There is a Bass Pro shop right on the water, which I think is really cool, and lots of good lake fun, lots of marinas, lots of places where you can rent kayaks and all kinds of boats, the pedal boats, all kinds of things like that. So, it's kind of a place where you have all of that in one spot. You have a nice lake, Table Rock Lake in Missouri. You have a nice entertainment. A lot of people go there and spend their daytime on the lake, and then you come in, have a nice meal in Branson, and then you can go ahead and have your entertainment that night. And it's all kind of a nice little package. It's relaxing in the daytime and partying at night. As far as where to stay, there's all kinds of, I would go to Airbnb, Branson, Missouri. There's all kinds of condos that are for rent there. So, there's people that buy condos and rent them out. So you're going to have plenty of choices. If you just type in Branson, Missouri, look at the ratings, you're not going to have too much trouble finding a place to stay. I know probably the condos are more popular than any of the hotels you'll find in that area. So that's the way I would go with a house, Airbnb, or something of that type. Now, as far as eating, I will tell you this, there is everything you want to eat there. You can get as cheap a meal as possible. You can get an expensive meal if you'd like. I'm going to tell you about one of our favorite places to go that's on the more expensive side, but yet not so expensive that you couldn't afford to take a family there. It is called Big Cedar Lodge. Their restaurant is called Top of the Rock. And we usually go there every time we go to Branson. It's, there's not a strict dress code, but it's, golf shirt and nice pants. It's one of those types of places. They've got a nice wine list. They've got some nice meals. If you like cocktails, they've got some good cocktails. But what I really want to mention is when you go there, it has golf courses all around it. And one of the fun things that we like to do is you can rent a golf cart. You can have even a two-seater or a four-seater, and it will actually, there's a driving tour that you can go through and look at the beautiful waterfalls and the lake, and it overlooks the golf courses, as you might imagine. Since it's called Top of the Rock, it starts up on top of the rock. And you wind down, you get to go through a cave-like structure that's pretty cool. There's refreshment locations as you go through there. I think it will take you about 45 minutes to an hour for that tour, but you could probably go through it as quick as you want it or get off and stop as many times as you want it. So what I think is one of the nicer places in that area. I know I've read that they have like 4,600 acres. The guy that created Big Cedar Lodge was actually Johnny Morris, the guy that founded Bass Pro Shops, and you know how popular they are. But there's an activity center that I know I read was over 50,000 feet, all those golf courses, a spa, fishing, outdoor adventure, all kinds of things like that. And I think that is one that you'll really enjoy. Now, late night, after you've done a lot of the activities, and I'm going to share with you, there's everything from carnival type activities to really nice activities and shows. But I know you guys in the Midwest know about Andy's frozen custard. So save time for some frozen custard at Andy's. Basically, if you guys aren't familiar with frozen custard, it is like, I hate to give it this description because it doesn't sound as tasty as it really is, but frozen custard is basically ice cream that also has honey and I believe egg added to it. That's what custard is. Custard has an egg in it. But when you mix it up like ice cream, it's just a really rich, tasty version of ice cream. So Andy's frozen custard, when you're in for a quick break and you want some ice cream, it's going to be crowded. It's always crowded there. It's set up like a Tasty Freeze where you walk up. There's no, there's no drive-through. You walk up and order, and they have places for you to eat there. You can eat in the car, whatever you would like. So I guess we've talked about both extremes of eating, top of the rock restaurant, and then all the way down of getting some ice cream, some frozen custard at Andy's. I'll leave it up to you to find the restaurant choices that you want. I know a lot of you like the regional restaurants, and there are all kinds of regional restaurants in Branson, Missouri. Easiest way to do it is just to Google restaurants in Missouri, look for the cuisine you want, and just do it that way. You'll have plenty of restaurants. We've actually gone to some wineries too. There's some wineries that have a restaurant with it. There's some that have tastings. I forget how much it is, but there's some of the wineries have tastings when you can get their different types of regional taste of the wine they have in that area. So those are some of the things, the food things that you can do. As far as activities go, I think it's going to be best for me to just tell you what we have done. Some of you like cheesy shows. There is everything from cheesy shows to very well done shows in the area. So there is literally something for everybody to enjoy. You will occasionally see groups like the Oak Ridge Boys in the area. We've been to the Dolly Parton Stampede, which there's several of those throughout the country, especially from just west of the Mississippi over to the East Coast. Basically, you go into Dolly Parton Stampede and there's live animals in the show out in front of you while you're eating. It's like a big area, I guess an arena where the seats around the outside of the, maybe more like a stadium, the seats around, if you can picture this like an infield, that's where you're eating. It's food that they bring to you. It's all included in the price. And then there's shows involving animals. Now, we'll tell you, make sure you're not allergic, because my wife is a little allergic to horses. And we did have to get her a puffer when we left that. So if you do have some allergy concerns in that regard, just be aware that it's like going to a rodeo, I guess, just not as intense. But the show was nice. It's a very nice country show. There is shows in the Branson area concerning the Titanic. There is shows involving tenors. There is show involving Elvis Presley impersonators. I'll make you aware of, I think you all know by now that I'm a Beatles fan, and the Liverpool Legends are in Branson, Missouri, and I know they're popular enough now. That was a group put together by George Harrison's sister. There are 4 guys. I know that occasionally their clientele changes. The ones that are in the group will change from time to time. Liverpool Legends have recorded and produced all the Beatles songs for the album Fab Fan Memory. I know that was nominated for a Grammy Award. I think it was back in 2012. So they tour all over the country now, but their home base is really Branson, Missouri. So if you're into the old rock and roll and Beatles type music, that would be a place for you to go. I know there are other activities such as escape rooms. You have impersonators of just about cover bands of just about any type of music you would want. You've got rock and roll. You've got music from the 50s and 60s. You've got country music. As I mentioned, you've got the tenors. If you're into like the 4 tenors type of music, you've got that there. So I really think that Branson is one of those kind of places that maybe you need to just talk yourself into going to it the first time. That's what we did. It's what me and my wife did. Our friends in St. Louis took us there. I'd heard of it, but I didn't really know that much about it. And now I'm kind of disappointed when we get through a year when we weren't able to go back there. And with all the pandemic stuff that's bouncing back and forth right now, I'm hoping we get back there again soon. But that's Branson, Missouri. I think you're going to like it. You've got plenty of stuff for the kids. And again, it's a great location to go to if you like to have your relaxing type of day where you can go to Table Rock Lake, do some boat rentals, some kayaks, any type of boat you can imagine, you can do that. One of the things we like to do is hit the trails. There's all kinds of trails. There are bicycle trails. There are walking trails. Some of the walking trails, you can have them from really rugged, maybe a half a mile up to probably any number of miles you want to go. So if you're into that type of thing, you can do that. So you got a lot of lake activities. You got a lot of nature activities. Really, honestly, guys, if you just search Branson, Missouri activities and read through all of them, you're going to be there for a couple of hours, and you're going to want to sit down and decide what's going to work out best for your family. You'll need a few cheesy things for the kids. The water activities will keep them excited during the day. If you're going to take them to a concert that maybe is more for you, well, then you need to promise them to take them to one of the other activities as well, and there's plenty there for all types of age groups. So make one of your future vacations. Again, I'll close this one about the way I closed the previous 2 episodes. And then, of course, next week we'll get back into, we're starting school again, so we've got to get back into planning for our school year. So, Branson, Missouri, maybe it's someplace you want to go for fall break. It's one of the funnest places that I've been to in the Midwest. It's someplace that I really enjoy going back to. And all I'm saying is, you go there once and you're going to want to go back there too. All right, so next week we'll get back to our substitute teaching and teaching topics of an actual classroom situation, but I did want to spend the last 3 weeks, since it was summertime and we're between classes, to let you know, teachers, you all deserve a vacation, and I've shared my thoughts about 3 different areas that you might want to consider in the future.